Hello, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of The Richter Show. And today we're actually going to be reviewing the lounge. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to review the lounge at the lounge because it was so noisy. I had people to my left, I had people to my right, I had the cleanup crew right behind me. So I'm going to get straight into this lounge. It looks like this lounge wasn't really meant to be a lounge. It's just basically a long hallway that was at the border of the airport, and there's even one part where I was sitting, and they just made like this long table, put some high top chairs on it, and said, "Okay, this is it. People can sit here," which that's okay, but you can tell that it wasn't originally designed to be a lounge. You can even see in front of me there was just like a staircase that would go to a second level where it's just like a hallway for the airport personnel to walk around where passengers really can't see them. But we couldn't even go upstairs, so it was very tight. There was really no sense of privacy in there. Now, it just feels like they just said, hey, let's do something just to say it's a lounge and charge. That was basically it. I know I'm starting off with the negative stuff first, but let me get that out of the way and then I'll head on to the positive side of it. Another thing I didn't really like about this lounge itself is that in comparison to other lounges, I've been able to stay in some lounges like 5, 6, 7 hours, and mostly it's just me sleeping because I'm tired and it's just a long wait, and the seats in there are theoretically more comfortable. There's supposed to be some lounges where you can actually lay down on, and that's the whole purpose of a lounge as well. But in this case, what I did not enjoy of it was that you can only check in 3 hours prior to your flight's departure, meaning that if your flight leaves at 3, you can only check in 12. Now the problem with that too is that your time is actually shorter because you need time to get to your gate, and the boarding process also starts earlier. So you're not really going to be there for 3 hours. Maybe depending on the person that's in the front, they might have a little leeway and let you be in 15, 20 minutes earlier than prior to those 3 hours that you can only be in that lounge. And the important thing to know is that, for example, I had a 10-hour connecting flight there, and I was trying to see if maybe, since I was hungry, I wanted to at least go in there, have breakfast, and use my 3 hours first, and then I'll just wait outside until it was time for me to leave. But unfortunately, you can't just move your 3 hours around any way you want. It has to be specifically 3 hours prior to your flight. I was in London, so I was a little bit disappointed in how in Great Britain, or at least in London, this lounge was handled. Once again, I'm using the priority pass, so maybe it was different for me and other people can stay longer, but I have to base things always, like I've said before, based on my experience and based on how I perceive things and based on how I saw things. I was a little disappointed in it, especially from being in a great country like Great Britain is, and how luxurious things are over there, including with their flights and the brand and everything that they represent. But honestly, I would give that lounge a 5 out of 10. Now, to talk about the positive side is that, obviously, number one, there's a lounge to begin with. There's a lounge, and there's obviously food. You're away from the other passengers, so you have a little bit of a sense of distance from everybody else. I was there basically for, I guess, brunch, you would say. The food was okay. It was all right. There wasn't too much variety in it. It was just basically the same stuff. Since I was moving more towards from switching from breakfast to lunch, I thought that maybe they would bring out some different food, but they kept the same thing there the whole time. If you want alcohol, you had to pay for it. It was not free. non-alcohol beverages were free, obviously. The check-in process was easy. I didn't have too much of an issue, except the part when the receptionist told me that I could only be there 3 hours prior. But I just showed my priority pass, showed my boarding pass, and then I was able to go inside. You also have to know that there are no bathrooms inside the lounge, so you don't have private bathrooms. You do have to use the public bathrooms that are outside of the lounge, but to be fair, they are very clean. There's actually a cleaning crew that's in there, and they actually make sure that everything is tight and clean. So I'll give them that. Okay, so there's a little bit of a leeway on that one, because usually airports have really nasty public restrooms, and the ones in the lounges have a tendency to be better. I felt a little bit indifferent about that lounge in comparison to all the ones that I've been to. It wasn't great. It wasn't the worst. It was just right smack in the middle, just your average standard lounge. If I had an option, I would probably go to another one and test it out, but on this flight, I had to go there. So my microphone actually just died, and the last 2 minutes that I was talking, I just realized that it wasn't being recorded. So I went back to the old wired headset. At least it'll finish the job. Anyway, that's my review on it. And I want to thank everybody for staying tuned and watching my videos. I appreciate every single one of you. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like these. See you all on the next video. Peace.
Shout out to the host, the Richter.